Guys, hello and welcome. How's everyone doing? Nice to see you all again. We are going to be live today with Jerome. Hi guys, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hi Patricia, thanks for joining. Hi guys. So I'm just going to wait for Josie to come in with the Galactic Conference profile and for Jerome to join. We spoke to Debbie yesterday, and we're going to be speaking to each one of the speakers every day leading up to the Galactic Conference. Accept and see. Okay, hi, how are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm just waiting for Josie to join in from the Galactic Conference profile.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to maybe you can start just by introducing yourself? Guys, this is Jerome. He's amazing.
Thank you so much for your kind words. So my name's Jerome. I am a metaphysical instructor and a starseed coach, and a transmitter of consciousness. Similar to Altea, we are conduits and channels of consciousness and information streams through us. And so these light codes that we bring in and these different metaphysical practices and techniques, we can do all sorts of amazing things with them. And one of them is shifting the codes that can affect our manifestation or abundance timelines. I know this whole galactic event is about the 8-8 Lionsgate portal, which is, abundance, manifestation, all this awesome stuff. And so we're going to be transmitting codes of consciousness for you guys. So, like, what does that mean? Codes of consciousness. How does that affect us? Why is that special, right? And so we are biological supercomputers, and the light codes is the programming language that interacts with our DNA that helps that like literally turns the switches on that affects our reality and affects this manifestation. And so I know everyone's doing something different, but I'm just going to talk about myself for a moment because I've got the platform. But so basically, for my experience in the conference, I'm going to be doing a transmission where I'm going to be taking you through a whole procedure of clearing the scarcity imprints, the different limiting beliefs, all the things that are holding you back from manifestation. A lot of times we create this box and put ourselves into something that we don't fit into. So we need to go in, remove those programmings and those codings, and we're going to then upload some new software and a that will interact with your DNA that will then manifest a higher timeline. And so this is a really awesome thing. We've been doing it for ourselves for so long, and we're going to start teaching others how to do it and assist you, right? So by coming in contact with us and with these codes, they will basically like reboot your system and put you on your highest path. And so that's sort of what we're bringing in for this event. Everyone's doing different stuff, around manifestation or around abundance, but that's what I'm going to be doing. And I know Altea and everyone else has some really cool stuff that they're going to be bringing in too.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so yesterday we were on a live with Debbie and we were just explaining how, like, you probably going to do some light language, some activations. I will as well. But also, guys, even like the other speakers who aren't necessarily doing light language, like, you're still receiving codes, you're still receiving activations. Like, there's so much that's coming through. And even, like, this is also what we said yesterday, even like when you make the conscious decision of purchasing the ticket to be present at this event, you've already shifted into a high vibrational frequency timeline. Like, it's
Mhm.
already started. You've already anchored into that. So we're looking forward to see, who's gonna be there. It's only $44. It's a very reasonable price. It's about 6 hours of conference. There's 8 different speakers and guests, and we will have some Q&A time as well. So at the end of everyone's talk, there's going to be like a 10-minute kind of like time where, yeah, this is online. Someone's asking. Guys, if you have questions, please ask in the comments. Conference. And also with a ticket purchase, you will be able to have access to the recording, but only if you buy the ticket before the event. We will not have the ticket available for recording after the event. So you need to buy the ticket beforehand, and then if you can't make it on the day, or if you can't be for the whole, like 6 hours, then you will be sent the recording. I think within like a day or so, I'll send it through. So there's really like a lot to unpack, and I always find that like you can only plan to a certain extent when you do these events or when you are in these spaces, because so much goes on, so much happens. So it's really, 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 it can be unpredictable. Let's put it that way.
It definitely can. And so with these events, I love that you said that like once you make the purchase, you are signing that contract and your soul is already stepping into that timeline. And so your consciousness already knows what's going to happen. And when you show up to these events, if anyone's on here that has already experienced Altea or myself, you know that for $44 you're going to get so much more than what those few dollars is. Like, you can't put a price on consciousness, and that's just with the two of us. And there's more speakers, and I love what you said about how when whether or not they're doing light language, your voice is a transmission, right? And your message is so powerful. And regardless of if you are showing up for light language or if you're showing up for a manifestation technique or some quantum, field thing that we're going to be sharing with you, whether you're showing up for that or you're brand new and have no experience in the astral or in this space, just coming in and learning about these things, when you just hear about these things, the words have power and they affect your consciousness, and it will start reprogramming your consciousness regardless of any level that you're at along your journey. And I think that this is really powerful too, because as we're stepping into this portal and as we are, stepping into these higher timelines, even if you don't know what your path is or you don't know what direction you're going into, this will help propel you because it will clear the field for you and help you step into that timeline. A lot of times, people are almost they're like on the right path, but not really in it yet, or they're like on the threshold, and these things will speed up that purpose for you, because that's how we manifest our highest timeline, is walking in this purpose. And that's, in my opinion, the most powerful thing we can do is step into that purpose and start manifesting that for ourselves and for everyone around us. I mean, there's enough abundance for all of us.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly how you explained. I was speaking to a client earlier and I was saying how it's really all about taking aligned action, in whatever direction you want to go. So making sure that, thoughts, actions, emotions, and words are in alignment, but you're also taking actions. The example I gave is like, let's say someone doesn't like their job, and you want to find a new job. You can't expect it to fall out of thin air. You still have to send your CV, go to interviews and things
Mhm.
like that. So it's really a matter of, taking a step in the direction that you want your life to go in. And in this case, it could literally be like just purchasing the ticket and participating to this event, because even if you don't think you need things, like stuff will come up and you will understand, and you will have realizations during, before, after, when this event is happening. It will activate parts of you that you might didn't even know needed to be activated on a subconscious level and on a conscious one as well. But I think, yeah, it's very exciting because so much is expanding and so much is opening up. I think I've got Josie on. Let me let her in.
What you
Let's
just said is
see.
so powerful, and this is something that we teach with manifestation, right? Because you can do all the techniques that you want, whether you're using your Merkaba or any other techniques for manifestation. If you are not aligning your actions with your emotions and with, hi
Hi,
Jesse,
Jerome. Hi,
hi
Altea.
guys, um, if you are not aligning yourself and your actions with the thing that you want, it's not going to manifest, because when you are programming the field and through whatever technique that you're doing, you're telling the universe and you're programming your cellular memory to have this future thing that isn't there yet, and you're putting it in the queue, and it's like it needs to download. So it's in this higher dimensional realm, and the only thing between it and this 3D reality is your action steps, right? And so
Yeah.
what's so awesome about it is when you're performing these things, the universe will line it up for you, and it will be slam dunks. And but you have to show up. And an example for this is a company that I was building at one point. I had no idea. I was switching from one thing to another. I had no idea how to start an internet business, had no idea how to do this stuff. And but I didn't need to, because as I just did the action steps and I set things up, the universe gave me every person that I needed that knew everything that I didn't know. It lined everything up. It opened every door for me effortlessly, or what it felt like. I had to show up every day and do the work, but it happened easily. And it's just so interesting about showing up for yourself and making that commitment to yourself, and showing up and wanting more for yourself. This is an action step. Showing up to this event
Yeah.
is an action step for yourself.
Yeah, it's really about like listening and then, navigating into that direction in whatever direction is aligned for you at this moment in time, and then taking aligned action towards that direction.
What you said earlier is something that I teach all the time when it comes to manifestation, where I'll take someone through an experience and to manifest a thing, and then a few weeks later they'll be like, Jerome, like I was trying to manifest that perfect partner or manifest that new job, this, that, and the other, but like, they haven't showed up yet, or I just haven't gotten this job. I'm like, okay, well, are you out there applying for jobs, or are you sitting at home thinking they're going to start pounding on your door, begging for you to work for them? Are you out there dating, or are you out there going to places where this person might be, or are you sitting at home by yourself, isolating to where that would never happen because they're not going to fall through the roof into your lap, right? So these action steps,
Mm.
as simple as it is, about going out into a public place, right? Because you'll never know where you meet your partner. I met mine at a conference, right? So just in life, where you would least expect it, that's where they'll show up. And if you don't just show up for yourself in these different places, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Josie, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, and also just that, like, it doesn't always happen in the rational, like, linear way in which we always expected, like A, B, C. Sometimes the universe wants us to jump ahead and like receive things in the most unexpected ways, and that's not going to happen unless you're open to reading the signs and seeing the unexpected patterns come through, and the unexpected magic of maybe I should just go. If this person's inviting me to this thing, maybe I should just go. Like you said, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know whose path you're going to cross with. You never know what opportunities you're going to stumble upon. That's why I'm also like always talking to everyone about what I'm doing in the world, no matter whether I think this person may be able to help me or not, because you never know, like, the connections that you're making that just connect the web and connect the dots along the line, and be able to receive things in the most unexpected ways.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of, deprogramming and releasing the scarcity template and being in a space where you're like, okay, like I deserve it. I can receive this. Like I'm able to, because you can take all the aligned action that you want and do all the manifestations that you want, but if you don't believe you deserve it, like it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
If you don't feel it in yourself either, right? Because there's the vision and then there's the emotion. If you don't feel like you said, if you don't feel like you're worthy of that, or you don't feel like you're enough to have that, you'll never get that, because you are stunting your own growth, right? So aligning not only your actions but your emotions with the vision, and then showing up, and they can be the littlest, smallest steps, but they do add up. Every step is still a step forward, and it's really important. In anything that we do. There's something else that I was trying to remember what you said, because it's something I wanted to piggyback off of. It'll come back to me easily and effortlessly in a moment here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree. I think worthiness is like the lack of self-worth is the biggest block that we are facing towards manifesting our dream lives. And that's definitely what I've been seeing in my life and in my clients' lives as well. And so working with that on a deeper level, I think, is such a powerful way to manifest.
It came
Yeah.
back to
And
me too.
what
Go
I
ahead.
always like to say is you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So it's
Yeah.
really like embodying that, and, if you want to manifest financial abundance because you want to, I don't know, buy a house to feel safe and secure, then work on the ground in it, work on feeling safe, work on feeling secure, work on feeling supported, and start to work with that feeling, that emotion, so that you can skip, like manifesting in the 3D is fine, but it can be a little bit slow. You ideally want to be manifesting on a quantum level so that, you align a lot quicker with the timeline where that thing is happening and it exists. You still need to navigate and move through lessons, but all the timelines are possible because there's an infinite number of timelines and possibility. It's just a matter of you taking the actions to align with the timeline.
There's also something really important to this about the active and passive combined, because there are action steps, but also surrendering to the flow of the universe. Because the universe, like the way that the magic works itself, is through the path of least resistance. When people are manifesting, like surrender your control over how you think it's going to happen and just be open to the way that it does, because people want to control, like, oh, I want to manifest this, but it has to happen like that. That's not how it's going to
Yeah.
happen. It's going to show up the way that it does. And if you're too busy focusing on how you want it to happen versus
Yeah.
how it will, there's that aspect to it as well, because a lot of people, they want this one thing but think that it can only come this way, but it might
Yeah.
never, it's not even possible for it to come that way. And so being open to how it presents itself, and being able to see the signs and showing up. And this is where too, your intuition, the universe is giving you all the signs that you need and guiding you, but you have to show up. And when I say these action steps, it can literally be like answering the phone or answering that text message or that email when someone reaches out because they might have an opportunity for you. And it can be that small, but those doors can open, but you have to act.
Yeah, I find that it's a fine balance between like surrendering to the divine will of the universe and then having like structure and discipline within
Mm.
your own kind of like your boundaries, your integrity and your direction, and really being like focused and centered in that, but being flexible so that you're observing reality in a way that is non-linear and not what you've been programmed to believe, so that you are open to the things, but at the same time, then when you see them, it's like, okay, it's here now. Now I need to actually like do it, sort of thing. So I mean, it's definitely not like an easy one, and it takes lifetimes to master it. But once you do have a bit of that balance between the two, then it does make it easier to navigate this experience in reality, I think.
The discipline aspect that you just said is so important, because this can be with money, a relationship, anything that you manifest. When it comes to saying I want a relationship and you want to manifest that, or when it comes to money, like getting the money is one thing, but then maintaining it, or like getting that partnership is one thing, but then showing up as the person that can maintain that and having the discipline to continuously act, not only just act once when you get it, but to be able to continuously show up as that. And this is where that discipline turns into this programming, and these action steps, little by little, they build you into that future self. And so when we're manifesting, we're literally just creating our future self. Save it. And this is such a beautiful way to think about it. So like your cellular memory, right? So all your memories, they're saved on your cells. Your cells don't know the difference between images that you see with your eyes that are saved with an emotion on your cells, or images that you create with an emotion and then you save on your cells through a manifestation. And so when you're doing that, you got to make sure that the thing that you say you want to be, you got to continue to show up as that, right? So, or else the manifestation isn't going to maintain. A lot of times people will manifest a thing, but then it'll fall away, or it'll be like you get it and then you lose it. Well, it's because you didn't have the discipline or the integrity, or
Yeah.
you didn't show up for yourself the way that you said you wanted, and then it will fall off.
Yeah, I find that a nice way to see it is like where you are now is a byproduct of the decisions that you've made like beforehand. So if you're not in a good space right now, then you need to make different choices. You need to like take decisions in a different way, or navigate life in a different way, because you can measure progress, but you can only measure it maybe like the span of like 8 months, a year. If you look at where you were last year at this time and where you are now, like, are you happy? Are you in a good space? Did you make decisions that have brought you closer to being, a better version of yourself? And no one can really answer that. And I also find that people tend to like, you know, get almost like irritated and upset when they don't see the progress straight away, because you're measuring the progress on, like a few months, or even sometimes like weeks or days, and with the ascension awakening process, what I've noticed is like there'll be something, and then you will navigate your life and carry on and move forward, and then one day you'll wake up and be like, oh wow, like 6 months ago I would have responded differently, and now look at me, like I'm centered, I'm grounded, or this is happening, or this is opening up for me, and so if you're careful and you're grounded and you're listening, like you will have these moments and be like, oh, okay, it's almost like nothing, 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 then all of a sudden, oh, now I can do it.
Yeah.
Something else with that too is that sometimes when we're manifesting, where it's like there's like the short term manifestation and the long term, because a lot of times, like if you have a big enough vision, there's a lot of action steps or a lot of work, or like like pieces that need to be built in order to pull off larger things, and you have to be patient and diligent and show up every day to continue to do that, you know, because if you start doing it but then you stop, so is your manifestation. And so, you know, like you said, the discipline plays into that. And when you're going through seeing the progress that you're making and seeing the little steps and the journey that you're making towards the destination, that is crucial. And that also is sort of what inspires you when you see like the little things adding up, like it's like drops of water in a bucket. Eventually it's full, and you know, you might not have it the way you want it yet, but you'll see the progress, and you just have to keep your vision aligned. And something I tell people all the time too is when you are creating a vision and you create it and you give it up to the universe in whichever way that you're doing, and you're programming the field for that, stop trying to keep manifesting the same thing over and over. Some people, they try to like, oh, I did the manifestation, it didn't work, I'm gonna do it again, I'm gonna do it again. What you don't realize is every time that you try to redo it, you're resetting the clock on the manifestation or resetting the queue. It's like you're clearing the queue and then you're putting it back in there, but you're not doing the action steps. And so that's the biggest thing too, is just to make sure that you're showing up for yourself. And journal, write it down, right where you're at, track your progress, because sometimes it doesn't seem like you're there, but if you like sort of like dial out and look back, like, wow, look at all the progress I've made, and it'll sort of keep you on track. It does for me, at least. You know, I try to look at all the little wins that add up to the big ones.
Yes, totally. Yeah, when I first also started off, I had like, I would actually write down my manifestations every single morning. Like every single morning, I would write down what I wanted it, and I have like pages and pages and pages of like these little like not even A5, like A6 booklets, like tiny,
Uh-huh.
tiny, where I would write like on repeat, like whether it was like how many clients I wanted to get or how much financial abundance I wanted to manifest it, or what I wanted to release and things like that. And then I find that like new moon and full moon is also a very good time to set intentions, let go, manifest, release. So yeah, I think you know, in this portal of energetics that we're going into now. So for those of you who are just joining now, Jerome will be talking at the Galactic Conference. So it'll be next Friday on the 8th of August. It's about 6 hours. We're going to have 8 incredible speakers. There's going to be a lot of activations, a lot of light language. There will be a Q&A time. Me, Josie, and Debbie are all going to be like co-hosting and speaking. Me and Josie will also be doing a workshop and talking a little bit. So yeah, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, it's only $44, or the links are in our bios. And with the ticket, you will have access to the full recording of everything. If you can't make it on the day, the recording will not be available after, so you still have to buy a ticket beforehand. I don't know if there's anything that any of you guys would like to add, maybe before we close off, if there's anything that you guys want to share more about.
The only thing I think we didn't do for anyone that I know Josie jumped on abruptly in the middle of everything, but um, does everyone know, both of us? I know I introduced myself. I know you did. I would like to know more about Josie and what she's going to be talking about at the portal. I'd like to know about your topic. I know I shared mine, just for people that haven't seen it yet, or they listened back to it in the recording that'll be on in your socials. It'd be cool just for a moment to take a moment and just, you know, talk about how we got here.
Thanks so much, Jerome. That's really sweet of you. So I'm a womb healer, a womb priestess, also a light language channeler, and I'm going to be speaking about how this cosmic ascension is coming through the grand cosmic womb, and I'm going to be connecting through meditation and activations the energetic womb of the participants. So whether you are in a male body or a female body, we all have an energetic womb centered in the sacral chakra space just below the belly button. And I'm going to be doing an activation that's going to activate that space within the body and then connect us energetically to the womb of Mother Gaia. And then we're going to send that up and connect us to the cosmic womb so that we may be in alignment with this ascension, the birthing of this new earth consciousness that I feel is coming through this cosmic womb space within the cosmos, and is really birthing this new energy, this 5D energy, and is bringing forth these codes of peace, love, harmony, balance, and really finding that balance within every body, between the male and feminine energies, and finding a balance between that so that we can come into harmony, greater harmony with our internal world, and connecting that to the power of the Gaia's womb and the power of the cosmic womb. So we really are channeling that energy from below and above.
Beautiful.
Awesome. I have so many questions after what you just said because I know, whether you're
Go ahead.
masculine, feminine, I know we have both polarities within us, right? Every man has, feminine energy and masculine. And when you're saying this energetic womb, it also makes me, when you're saying that, it makes me think of like, I'm a male in this body, but I've lived a bunch of other lives as a female. And so I'm sure there's a connection with those as well, and some sort of entanglement that needs to be addressed at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's really exciting, and it's really exciting, and it really allows us to come into greater harmony with our power from within.
yeah, and what I also wanted to add that we spoke about yesterday is that we really tried to keep the balance within this conference with the masculine and feminine energies. So we've got like a set amount of, divine masculines that are speaking, and a set amount of divine feminine women as well that are speaking. So I think this is quite a big theme that will be coming through on the event as well.
How
Okay.
exciting.
Amazing, wonderful. So, guys, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you guys for coming through. If you want to get tickets, follow the link. It'll be in our bios. And then, yeah, if you're catching on the replay, you're really welcome to comment and ask questions or send us DMs and let us know. You can also like pre-prepare questions if you want for the event, and then you might be chosen and we might ask it at the event. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, me and Joyce are going live with the guys from Galactic Federation of Light. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.